We accept the love we think we deserve. This is a quote that the first time that I heard it was years and years ago. It's from one of my favorite movies, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, with Logan Lerman, Emma Watson, and Ezra Miller. I think that was his name. I forgot. If you haven't watched the movie, please do. It's incredible. It's amazing. It certainly shaped me all of my teen years, but that quote stayed with me forever. It has stayed all these years. It's been a decade. Well, it's been a decade. Hey guys, welcome to the One More Mile podcast. I am Paula and I am your host. Today we're going to talk about heartbreak, love, healing, going through a heartbreak, accepting love, evolving, letting go, whatever you want to call it. I think that quote that I mentioned at the beginning is so true. We accept the love we think we deserve. So if you are accepting mediocre, if you're accepting a toxic love, it's maybe because deep in your mind you think you deserve that, and it's only up to you, and only you have the power to truly change that for the better. A little bit of a story time, a little bit of a story. When I was 18, 19, and I was in Ecuador, I met this guy, and he was a friend of mine, and we met. I totally forgot the way we met. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how you care about someone that much for a lot of years and then you just truly forget things. But we met and then we started seeing each other, and we had very similar personalities. At the time I was drinking and I was the life of the party, and I was very outgoing, and I was in every single party and in every single event and everything. And he was the same. He was the life of the party. He was very outgoing. He had a lot of friends. So we clicked. It was magical. We had the same personality. We ended up going to all these parties together, and our friends were like mutual friends. So everything was easy and better and good. And it got to a point where, out of the blue, after like a month or two of seeing each other, he switched the flip. He started being like all dry, stopped replying to text, stopped answering the phone. And in my mind, I know something was wrong and I know he was changing, but I don't know why I didn't want to like accept it, or I didn't want to confront him. I have a hot tea, so excuse my tea breaks. But at the end of the day, he ended up ghosting me, or like we stopped talking at all with no explanation whatsoever. It was fine. I was heartbroken. I was like, wow, I really thought this was the love of my life. Why did things change this hard? Why is this happening to me? I don't know. We don't know. That's it. Through the thing is that I thought I deserved that love, and I was accepting a lot of things because he came back into my life. And I think all of the girlies can relate to this, because they always come back. Even if you think they're not coming back, it could be 10 years from now, they always come back. And if you're a boy, and you were with a toxic girl, she's always gonna come back. But my experience, I've only dated men, so I can assure that all men, they come back. They come back crawling, crying, arrepentidos. They come begging for forgiveness, and then you being all in your feelings, because we tend to be like that. We tend to be dummies. We take them back. So that's what I did. He came back after, in like the next year, because we were seeing each other around like Christmas time and stuff. He came back in the new year. Hey, let's start this. This is a new year. Let's rebuild this thing that we had. I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. And I accepted it. Now, this is a key factor to the story. if you guys are thinking about coming back with your ex, or with your ex thing that you had, or with someone that you had a thing in the past, please don't. People don't change. And if they do, both of you guys are not the same. So maybe both of your personas are not compatible anymore. Both of your personalities are not going to align. Both of your hearts are not going to be in sync. And that's okay. Because there's billions of people in this world. Your high school lover from this small town is not the love of your life if he hurt you multiple times. Trust me when I say this, love could be out there in another continent, or maybe it's your neighbor that you never pay attention to, but love is not the person that has hurt you multiple times, okay? So I took him back, we started again, and then the cycle repeats, and he started the same thing, ghosting, not answering the text, the lies, and a huge thing that we had in this going on and on thing was that he never asked me to be his girlfriend. And I know here in the US is very, like, you don't have to do that. Here in the US it's kind of like, oh, we kind of like just see each other a lot, and then you assume like, oh, my girlfriend, my boyfriend. Even though my husband, Dulo, he asked me to be his girlfriend at the time. But this guy in Ecuador, he never asked me. So that was a huge thing that I had in my mind. And I never fully told him at the moment, because I was like, oh, maybe if he doesn't want to ask me, maybe it's fine. Like, people don't have to do that. In my country, everyone does that. And second of all, I wanted that. And this is another key of the story. If there's something that you want out of any situation, if there's something that you want out of a person, out of a job, out of yourself, out of your fitness journey, if there's something that you truly want, you shouldn't have to change it over someone else. If you really want kids and your partner, your boyfriend, your little, I don't know, date that you're seeing doesn't want kids, you can change their mind, but you can also change yours just to please them. So if this guy didn't want to make me the official girlfriend, I should have not settled to not being that, because I wanted to be that. I wanted to be official with someone. I wanted to be asked the question, would you like to be my girlfriend? I wanted that. I never had it with him. We accept the love we think we deserve. Fast forward, we stopped talking again, guys, and my common friends until this day, they're like, oh my god, this is exhausting. Please stop. You guys are toxic for each other. You need to stop. Then I think COVID came, and just being in my room with all my feelings, with nothing to do, I was going to a really hard heartbreak. And another parenthesis in the story, a heartbreak might be the best thing that happens in your life. A heartbreak might be the starting point of you creating something wonderful out of your life, or of you creating the best version of yourself. Because how do you know? You don't see all the girlies that become like super like Pilates princess, or a fitness girly, like a gym girly, because they have a huge glow up when this person leaves. And I'm not only mentioning it as a fitness goal or as a like physical change in your appearance that you make when someone toxic leaves your life, but also you create better habit. But also you can have more healthy habits in your life. You can live more of a calm life. You can achieve something better at work. You can create something that you always wanted to start. You can start your own business. You can start your own podcast. You can start content on social media. You can spend more time with your family, the truly people that you should be spending with, instead of men that just don't care. So there's a lot of things that you can create out of a heartbreak. And a heartbreak does not mean life is over. I think a heartbreak just means, okay, what can I create with this little bit of pain that I had? So it was COVID time. I was heartbreaking because of this guy. It was too much. It was like the worst 3 years of my life. So I was heartbreak, and I started on TikTok. I had 0 followers. I was doing like those dances in quarantine and like funny videos that you make, but none of them was going viral until I posted my first video talking about how it's gonna be okay. The literally words that I said was, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna heal from this. I know it hurts. I know right time. I know right now you're asking, why me? I know right now you have so many questions in your mind, and you're thinking that you weren't enough for that person, and you're in pain and you're suffering. But trust me, one day someone is gonna come, and that someone is gonna show you that it's not hard to love you. You are easy to love. And that someone is gonna love you in your love language. That someone is gonna show you the amazing person that you are. In the meantime, focus on yourself. Focus on evolving the amazing human being that you are. But you're gonna heal. It was something along those lines. The video went viral. It has like 3 million views. And my TikTok career started. I gained a lot of followers. I gained like 100 and something K followers. I became really, really popular on TikTok. I had a nice community. We were doing lives every week. We were doing giveaways. It was amazing. It was probably the best time in my career. And I hope I gained a little bit of that. Like, I think it was also because of the whole being lockdown that everyone had to do, so people were more on social media. So yeah, I'm not gonna get into that topic, but I created something beautiful out of a heartbreak, and you can do that too. You can do anything. You can write a book. You can, if you're a musician, you can create a song. You can do anything you want out of a heartbreak. Find inspiration in the pain. Let the pain be your muse for something bigger to create. I want to make this long story short. After every single thing, he came back after COVID. My cousin, who was my neighbor, she was like, please do not take this guy back again. Please, you guys have to let it go. You guys have to literally let it go. It's been exhausting for everyone. Everyone in your life is tired of this. You have to let it go. And guys, when I tell you that, you need to make your own mistakes. And I think we've always been there. We've always been that person that comes back to that toxic person. And we've always had those people around us telling us, please, no, no, and showing us proof and evidence. And we're just blinded. And I think we've also been the friend. And if you've been the friend, please be patient, because I think everyone has their own journey and everyone has their own way of realizing what is good for them and what they deserve and what they don't. So it's just a journey of being patient with your loved ones when they're going through a rough path in relationships. So I came back with the guy. I took him back. I took him back again. People were disappointed. I was happy. And I feel like if you have been in a toxic relationship or in a toxic, like, going on and off, it's just exhausting how it takes so much of your time, and it's kind of like the adrenaline of like being okay with that person for a few months and then suffering and oh my god, and you're going drinking and like oh my god, I miss this guy, and then going back again and being okay and flowers and everything. It's exhausting. And I think personally why I allowed that was because I never had the thing that I was lacking, that was the commitment from him. I never heard the words, would you like to be my girlfriend? I never had the commitment, the official commitment of him being with me. So maybe that kept the door open for him, because I always kept thinking, okay, this time he's going to do it right. This time we're going to make it work. This time everything is going to heal, and this time we're going to be better, blah, 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 blah. He's going to commit. He never did. He never did. And I don't want to bash on the guy, because I think we ended up in good terms after everything that happened. But it's kind of like right now that I'm in my mid-20s, it's kind of like when people in their 20s or 30s want to get married, and you keep telling that person, I want to get married, I want a ring, and the guy is like, oh, I'm not ready for that commitment, I don't believe in marriage, why do we have to get married, it's just a paper, blah, 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 blah. I feel like that was happening to me, but with a smaller commitment, so I couldn't build anything big with that guy, if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And if you want to know how the story kind of finished, I don't want to get into too much detail because my husband is probably going to be listening to this podcast and I will feel attacked if he talks about his ex like this on a podcast. Please, mi amor, this is just for educational purposes. But yeah, I will feel attacked, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But at the end of the day, I moved to New York, and this guy, basically our dream was always New York, and he has been to New York before. I've never visited New York until I moved here, so he will send me pictures of like, look, when you come and I'll come visit. Yeah, we can go to Central Park and we can go to Times Square and we can go to like the museum and like all these things, tourist things that he was doing. And I was obsessed because I was obsessed with New York, and that was kind of like a thing in my mind of like, oh my God, New York with him, it will be the dream, blah 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 blah. Guys, and it's funny because we had this hyperfixation with Times Square, and right now I can't stand in Times Square. I hate it with all my life. I just can't. And I work in Midtown, so it's hard for me. But I hate it. I hate it. Okay, so we fixed things the last day before I came to New York. He talked to me. We talked. We were no contact for like months and months and months and months and months and months. And then the last day, he texted me at like 2 or 3 a.m. and he was like, can we talk? I'm outside your house. And I sneak out of my house to talk to this guy. Yeah, I sneak out of my house. We just talked. We just talked and we cried because at the end of the day, I think we both care about each other. We were toxic for one another, and I think he wasn't what I deserved, and probably I wasn't what he deserved. He probably deserved someone that didn't want commitment and someone that had more of like a freestyle of going with the flow. And I didn't deserve someone that kept me on going, of like, oh no, it's not your fault, it was never your fault. We cried, we said goodbye, we promised that we were going to make it work long distance. Fun fact, that never works. And if it works for you, please come on this podcast. I want to interview you because long distance is hard. After like a few months, I think. Yeah, after like a few months that I was living in New York, he came to visit. I was already dating Dulo. We weren't married, we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And this guy of the story, he came to the restaurant that I was working at, and we had a talk. And in the talk, it was like a very deep into our feelings talk, and we kind of like just talk about what happened. Like, you literally had me going on and on and on and on and on and on for so many years. And I told him that because I was healed and I was already with another person that I love, and I was feeling brave. So I'm like, why would you do this to me? Like, why would you not take the commitment? And why would you do this to me? Blah, 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 blah. And he told me right away, because I didn't want it to. I know you wanted to. He said in my face, I know you wanted to. I know you wanted to become girlfriend and boyfriend, be in a relationship. I just didn't want it to. And it wasn't like worthy asking you because I didn't want it to. Pew, pew, pew. The realization in my mind, pew, it was like a weight out of my shoulders, because it was something that I always knew, but he never had the guts to tell me. And that's basically what I mean with we accept the love we think we deserve. If I accepted that love for 3 years or whatever amount of time we spend on that is because I thought I deserved that, and that clearly has to do with maybe like issues of self issues that I had of not thinking I'm enough. And that's probably something that you might be going through right now. You might be accepting someone that is lying to you. I really hope you're not accepting someone that is cheating or being aggressive verbally or physically towards you. Please, that is not okay. Please leave that person. But any single thing, it could be anything that you're accepting, is because you think you deserve it. But let me tell you something. If you clicked on this podcast, it's because you found the title interesting enough to identify with it, or because you simply want to support me. But if you find the title interesting enough, it's because you have felt this way at a certain point in your life and you can identify. And you know what they say, love and heartbreak is a universal language, so it doesn't matter if I'm speaking English, if you speak any other language, we all have been through love and heartbreak in this life.